Hello guys and welcome back to another review with us, the Review Bros, and today we're going to be taking a look at this rather juicy pre-workout called Shifted, and it's making some big claims. It's got a very stacked label, a massive scooper, so how will it fare as we cover the taste, the price, the label and the effects and work out if it's going to be your next pre-workout. And if you're new here, please do hit the subscribe button, tick the bell icon, only if you enjoy the video of course, and please do give it a like and drop down your thoughts below on this product. Is it something you'd be interested in personally? And let us know anything else you want to see us review. We may just do it. Okay, let's move into that first segment, taste and mixability. So first of all, flavour we've got is berry, wild black raspberry it says, to give more detail. So let's see how it mixes. It is a massive 30-gram scoop, and it's very satisfying to see that a dead flat scoop does actually get that serving amount. So yeah, we like it. Let's see. So it looks very thick in the glass. There is a lot to mix. There are some little bits settled at the bottom. But do you know what? Given that it's a 30-gram serving, it doesn't really look any worse than normal. I know there are bits sat at the bottom, but we see that in almost every pre-workout. But yeah, let's see how it tastes. Siri doesn't understand the flavour. And neither do I really. It's quite unique. It's a very deep tasting berry. Like a very deep, I don't know how to explain it. It's not a generic blue raspberry, nothing like that. It does taste like a very potent blackberry, or black raspberry should I say, flavour. Let's have another go. Yeah, it's very unique. I want to say along the lines of Vimto, like in that vein, but I don't want to do it a disservice because I'm not saying it tastes like Vimto. That's just the first thing that jumps out at me when I'm trying to liken it to something. But yeah, really nice. It tastes like a Robinson's fruit juice that you would mix up with water that you drink out your cabinet. So it don't even taste like a pre-workout. So they have done well. I am going to give it an honest 8.5 out of 10. Genuinely nice, you know, no one will struggle with this unless you hate black raspberry. Okay, let's talk money. So how much is this premium looking pre-workout gonna set you back? Well, you'll head over to getshifted.com where you can find this 20 serving tub on there, a genuine full 20 servings, very stacked formula which we'll get into. You can pick it up for $34.99 or $1.75 per the serving. And when you translate that over into pounds and put it against our consistent price scale, it comes in at a 6 out of 10. So price slightly better than your average pre-workout, with 5 out of 10 being smack bang average. So with it coming in at a respectable price, how will it come together in the label and the real world effects? Well, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to move into next. Okay, let's get into this stacked label then. So what have we got here? So it says, built for better, no proprietary blend, sugar-free, gluten-free, soy-free. So we're talking a lot of free stuff here. Limited edition it says, that's worth mentioning. What else is worth saying? Shifted pre-workout maximum formula is crafted with high-powered ingredients designed to help you go further and get stronger. Backed by science, optimal dosage, maximum formula. Proven in the lab to perform in the body. I like that. Energy, pump, focus, strength, endurance, mood are the elements that is promising. So without any further ado, let's move into it. So a massive 30-gram serving amount. We like it. Let's get into it then. So we've got a bunch of vitamins and minerals up the top just to help with general bodily function and muscle firing, you know, electrolytes, hydration, all that sort of thing. Nothing that you're going to necessarily notice in an acute way when you take the pre-workout, but let's move into the meat and potatoes of the formula. So we've got L-citrulline pure at 8 grams, which we approve of, which is probably like double the clinical amount. It's going to help with vasodilation and pump. We like it. Staple pump ingredient. Then we've got creatine monohydrate at your full 5 grams. So you will not need to take your separate standalone creatine supplement on the days you're taking this pre-workout. And when we move into the formula, you could get away with taking this for most of the week. So yeah, it's almost 2 supplements in one if you look at it that way. So we don't mind creatine in pre-workouts if it's dosed optimally, and if it's in a pre-workout that you could use on a regular basis, then it makes sense. If you see it underdosed or in high stim pre-workouts, doesn't really make sense. That's just our opinion. And creatine 1 hydrate is one of the best forms. We personally didn't opt for it in our pre-workout because it can potentially cause stomach upset with some people, but it is the most studied and proven form of creatine, so it just depends. You know, if you like it, if you get on well with it, fine. If you don't, then it might be a problem. But you're getting it in here anyways, and it's going to help with strength, power output, endurance, you know, general athletic performance when it builds up in your system and you reach that maximum saturation rate. Then we move down to the amino acid taurine at 3 grams, which is a mega dose. You know, that's 3 times what we normally see. So we're talking mega doses so far, so we're liking it. Taurine is a bit of a jack of all trades in that it helps with hydration, you know, pumps, cognition and energy production within the body, so we don't mind seeing it. Although when we do get into higher dosages of taurine, there is always the risk that it can interfere with the GABA receptor and have an almost sedative sort of effect, but we'll see if it's the case in this one. Then we move down to beta-alanine, the carnosine version, which is the registered potent pure form of it, at 2.5 grams. So now we're not talking quite crazy dosages. That is 700 milligrams less than what we would like to see as a minimum dosage of beta-alanine. So it's almost like they opted to have the carnosine one and go at a lower dose for the fact they're paying more for that trademarked version rather than just using a generic version at the optimal clinical dose of 3.2 grams. So whilst it's more pure, you could argue, would you rather just have a generic one at the right dose? But 2.5 grams is still not bad. You know, we're not going to sniff at it. Again, you're going to need to build that up in your system, similar to the creatine, to get the maximum effect. But once you do get that, it's going to help with endurance as it buffers lactic acid, and it also gives that itchy, tingly sensation, which you should still get at 2.5 grams, so we'll see. Then we move into betaine anhydrous at 2.5 grams, the dosage we look for, very nice there. That's another bit of a jack of all trades ingredient, you know, pumps, power, performance. Then we move down to L-tyrosine, another amino acid, 2 grams, double the normal. We typically see only around 1 gram. That's going to help with the cognition, focus, mood. Then we move down to red spinach leaf extractors, Oxystorm, that sounds pretty cool, which is a registered version of their red spinach leaf extract at 1 gram. We also have beetroot extract at 1 gram. They're both going to work together to help with some more vasodilation, pumps, hydration, general performance. Then we move down to alpha GPC at 300 milligrams, which, to be honest with you guys, we like to see 600 milligrams as a minimum dosage, yielding 300 milligrams of choline. So we'd like to see, obviously, double that dose. So yeah, whilst it is the best form of choline, in our opinion, it is at half the dose we would like to see. But we'd still rather see that at half the dose than a crappy form of choline, like choline bitartrate. So we'll still give them a thumbs up. That's going to help with focus and concentration. Then we move down to the caffeine blend at 300 milligrams, consisting of caffeine anhydrous at 250, and Zumar, which is another registered ingredient. Delayed release caffeine at 50 milligrams, which is, you know, yielding the 50 milligrams, totaling that 300. So you're going to get the caffeine anhydrous is going to hit you relatively quickly, and then you're going to get that delayed release 50 milligrams that comes in a little bit later, just to sort of smooth over those energy levels and I don't want to say prevent any kind of crash, but perhaps lessen the chances of crash. So yeah, we'll always take that sort of thing. Then we move down to L-theanine, another amino acid at 150 milligrams. You know, so we're looking at a 2-to-1 ratio when we measure that up against the amount of caffeine, or a 1-to-2 ratio, depending on however you want to look at it. So that is going to help to channel the stimulation into more of a serene focus. So it's going to put a blanket over the stimulants. It's going to sort of take away any of the harsh jittery effects that some stimulants can bring in higher dosages. You know, I'd argue that 300 caffeine for most people wouldn't cause any jitters anyway, but perhaps for a more newbie sort of person to pre-workouts it might. So they've thrown in the L-theanine there as a countermeasure to those potential negatives. So yeah, and again, they do say it helps with anti-crash. Of course, that's person dependent, but we'll see how it comes together anyway. Then we move down to Elevate EP, another registered ingredient, 150 milligrams, a nice dose there we look for. That is going to help with power output, similar to creatine in that regard. Then we move down to pink Himalayan sea salt, 100 milligrams. We always like to see it, you know, electrolyte. It's going to help with pumps and contractions, muscle firing. 100 milligrams, we'd like to see generally at least 300, but at least we're just glad it's in there, so we'll take it. Then we move down to Rhodiola rosea extract, 100 milligrams. Not too bad of a dose. We don't know the standardization of that, but 100 milligrams, if it's the standardization we like to see, is a pretty decent dose. So that's going to help with your mood, anti-stress, anti-anxiety, and mental endurance, I guess. Then we move down to coenzyme Q10 at 25 milligrams, which is, there's no denying that is a low dose from what I can tell, but that's got a whole range of benefits. You know, it's one of these health ingredients, but the most standout benefits of it, I would say, in a pre-workout context, are that it helps with energy production and power output. So we're looking at quite a healthy pre-workout so far, aren't we? Then we move down to estrogen, 25 milligrams. We normally like to see about 50 milligrams, so that's half the norm, but that's going to help with the uptake and absorption of all of these ingredients. And then there's more. We have bioperin, which is black pepper extract at 5 milligrams as well. So we've got a dual action absorption attack with this pre-workout, which is just as well, really, considering the fact we have a 30-gram scoop to get digested in a short period of time. So yeah, we always like to see one digestive aid, even better to see two, so gets a thumbs up. So as you can tell, it's a nice, friendly, healthy label, dosed really well for the most part. There are a few little bits that I would like to see dosed higher, but you know what we always say, let's see how it comes together in real life. Okay, let's talk real world effects with shifted pre-workout over the several times that I've used it. So, does it get you shifted into gear 5 or even 6? Well, let's start off like we always do at the beginning with that beta-alanine. It's in here at 2.5 grams. However, it is the painted version, the more pure and potent form, and there are also 2 digestive aids. So how does it kick in? It kicks in to a medium degree, I'd say. And I do think that's mainly just because there is just so much in this pre-workout to digest. Even in spite of those digestive aids, it still struggles to take a front seat. So it's more of a background effect. You definitely feel it, it's definitely there, but it's not uber intense. You know, you're not going to scratch your eyeballs out. So I would give it 5, 6 out of 10 on the tingle scale. So if you don't like beta-alanine, you should be able to survive this. If you love beta-alanine, you might be left wanting a little bit more from the tingly sensation. But hey ho, we're just happy it's in there because you get that sense of urgency, a sense of something kicking in, which we always say is welcomed in pre-workouts that are lower stim because you don't always feel them kicking in. So it's nice to have that tingler sensation to be like, oh, okay, it is actually hitting me now. So you get that. And then after that, to be honest with you guys, it's a very, very smooth onset of focus and energy. Let's talk about energy first. I would say that's very middle ground as pre-workouts go. Obviously, you are just getting the caffeine at the 300 milligrams, and then on top of that, you're also getting L-theanine, which has been known to sort of lessen caffeine's potency, shall we say. So I would say energy is a smack bang average 5 out of 10. However, there are no peaks, troughs, crashes, jitters, any nastiness. It's a very nice, healthy, daily driver-esque energy level, which, you know, I'd be happy to take daily, personally. I don't think 300 milligrams is anything too crazy. I would argue that most people take, you know, 300 milligrams on a general day. All that is 3 cups of coffee. And, you know, I would, anyway, going off the subject a little bit here, but I'd argue that 300 milligrams is absolutely fine. Obviously, that's person dependent. So anyway, energy levels, middle ground. So let's talk then about the 2 features, or even 3 features, that are actually above middle ground. So with energy levels being the worst element of this pre-workout, let's then work our way up to the best, because all the other elements are better. So let's then talk about the focus, which is a nice, healthy, almost mood elevated sort of focus that you just feel switched on. You know, you're moving A to B to C. It's a productive sort of healthy focus. There's no illicit highness, euphoric feeling to it. There's no mega tunnel dialed in illicit feeling to it either. It's just a nice switched on, you know, happy focus. So we'll take it. So that's the next best thing after the energy. So we're working our way up here. So after that, I'd actually then say endurance is the next best thing, which, you know, we don't often talk about because it's kind of hard to tell with endurance when it concerns a lot of these pre-workouts, simply because a lot of factors play into that, as well as just the endurance ingredients. You know, like even energy plays into endurance, because if you're feeling non-energetic, then as a consequence, you're not going to have as much endurance, are you? But with the way this pre-workout comes together, the endurance is one of those noticeable factors, so we're going to talk about it. So I did find myself going for an entire session feeling less tired, less fatigued, getting generally more reps than normal, just enjoying training, you know, and just working up a nice pump, which then moves me into the best feature of this pre-workout, the pumps, which you would probably see that coming considering it's got 8 grams of L-citrulline and various other ingredients that do also tie in with that pump element. So it's a nice vascular full pump. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a massively watery pump like you would get from, say, glycerol. It's more of just a rock solid vascular type pump. But yeah, I would say that is the standout feature of this. That's the most noticeable thing about this pre-workout, alongside that endurance as well. So yeah, we're talking pumps, best thing, endurance just behind, focus just behind that, and energy just behind that at the total middle ground. So if you want me to whack scores on all of these, like I said, energy 5, focus 6.5 we'll say. Then we talk about endurance. I would honestly give that an 8 out of 10, and pumps I'd give a 9 out of 10. So with no negatives either. There's no negatives to this pre-workout. So as a total score, I'm happy to give this an 8 out of 10. A solid 8 out of 10 as well, as a daily driver. So stim junkies, it won't touch the sides for you. Newbies, you'll probably be alright with it. People that take training seriously, bodybuilders, people that really want to go down that route of healthiness, nice smooth energy levels, prioritising their pumps and endurance and really working, you know, for hypertrophy style training, this is going to be the one to look at. And I do think it is worth that money as well, that 6 out of 10 price score, because it is priced better than your average pre-workout. And I would argue that the label and the effects are way better than average. So it is definitely worth picking up. Like, I haven't really got too many complaints with this pre-workout. If I was to personally make any changes, I would, let's see, I'd double the alpha GPC dose to the 600 milligrams. I would perhaps get rid of the L-theanines. I don't think it's necessary with only 300 milligrams of staggered, you know, 2 different forms of caffeine. I would also triple that pink Himalayan sea salt to 300 milligrams. I'd double the estrogen to 50 milligrams. I'd up that coenzyme Q10 to at least 200 milligrams, which is what we would like to see. And I think that's it really. Like, they're very small changes. Nothing is drastically needing or, you know, changing with this formula. So yeah, I think that covers everything. It gets our stamp of approval for what it is, and I do think it definitely has an audience. And do remember, an 8 out of 10 is a very, very solid score. Like I said, I think it would be pushing up higher if it had oh, that's another thing I should have mentioned. I would increase that beta-alanine as well to 3.2 at least. So yeah, with those minor changes that I've mentioned, and perhaps a smidge more energy, which removing the L-theanine would result in, would push it up to the 9s and even 10 out of 10 as a daily driver. So yeah, do check it out if that sounds right to you. We certainly enjoyed it. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on it anyway. What do you think of it? Have you used it? Do you want to use it? Anything else you want to see us review, let us know. All the usuals. And as always, stay stimmed.
Can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb.